So the question now has to be asked, and it was certainly being asked really after Brexit, but now even after Trump has won, we now have to ask, what happened? Why were these two things happen, which are certainly, one, incredibly bad for us, and God knows what's only going to happen to the US in the next 4 years. Now, immigration is the key thing that has happened in both these elections. This was the big player. A lot of people are not willing to admit, even on the side, on the winning side, are not willing to admit this is one of the big key issues. Just listen to all of Donald Trump's speeches. He is blaming other minority groups or other outside influences on America's problems. And it's the same for in the Brexit thing as well. Immigration was the big key. And you go up and down the country, you ask, the man on the street about immigration, and they've got it into their heads that somehow immigrants are somehow bringing down their life, when objectively it's not. And you've listened to someone like James O'Keefe on LBC, and he's had people on time and time again who have made basic statements that basically sum them up. Immigration is somehow ruining their lives. And let me put it this way, it is not wrong, it is not condescending for anyone to ask for evidence. If there was this genuine thing that immigration was actually genuinely ruining people's lives, Daily Mail, you name it, whatever right-wing newspaper would be on that every single day till the end of time. But it's not, because there is no evidence that immigration is subjectively making your life worse. It's not, pure and simple. And the problem is that these people do this and say this not because it's true, but because other people tell them in these newspapers, or they meet someone else, or it's just this feeling they have, and that's the biggest problem. It's this feeling they have that immigration is making their lives worse, and it is just simply not true. And I challenge anyone, show me any information you can provide that that immigration is making your life worse, because it's not. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, but it's not. It's something else entirely, and you are blaming other people to make your your life feel better. There's very little other way you can sum it up, and part of it is racism. You look at the UK. In the Brexit vote, you ask anyone in Barnsley who is the biggest population of immigrants coming to the UK, your answer will be 100% sure it's the Polish. However, if you actually look at the immigration figures, the biggest group of people coming into this country is not the Polish, it's the Irish. Yes, the Irish. The Irish are the biggest group of immigrants coming into this country, but for some reason it's not them who we have the problem with. It's the Polish. It's not the Irish people coming over and taking the jobs, it's the Polish. Go figure. But that's the reality that we unfortunately live in. And people, when they've gone to the politicians and things like that to say, what are you doing about immigration? We're doing a pretty good job on immigration. As many, as UKIP or You know, the Daily Mail will like to tell you, oh, we're horrible on immigration, there's all these people coming in. There have been more people coming in the past than there have now, and you know, Britain has not sunk into the sea, as so often is melodramatically claimed. It's not the case. So, yeah, immigration, and one of the other things I want to talk about is because politicians, when people bring this up to politicians are not scared of this topic. They know the truth. They know the evidence. It's that they get this on a daily basis and they're fed up of having to deal with people. Now, at that point, I do think it's the politicians' fault that they need to be continually saying it's not immigration that's at fault. There are these policies in place that are doing this and this. And, you know, they could. And that will be a solution. But the problem is you get people like, you know, UKIP who come in and just go, it's not the government's fault, it's the immigrants' fault. You look at UKIP's 2015 manifesto, and in every single point, it all has to do with excluding, you know, immigrants from every single point. And you have to fight back against that, because that in itself will cause problems. That in itself will lead to a rise in crime. People don't seem to understand that, but that's what will happen. But hey, there you go. This is now the world we unfortunately live in. But there you go. Am I right? Am I wrong? Tell me in the comments.